Alright, so welcome back to Cool Graphics once again with the Design Chef. And if you are new here, kindly subscribe to join the community that's on fire, because over here everyone is a chef and we are always in the kitchen cooking something. We don't get time to play, we don't get time to party. The only time we get, say, we go knack. As for that one, it be necessary, bro. Anyway, so today we're going to create this masterpiece in Photoshop. So through that we'll get to learn how to create this, pie chart easily in Photoshop. Okay, and it's just the same design, but over here I took the text out, straight the happy birthday in here, and over here just white background. So if you want this at the end of the video, you just choose which one. Just the same thing though, but the link to the resources in the description. But what you need to know is that you are not getting these portraits, because we took these photos in the studio and I can't be sharing other people's photos with you guys. So you will get this lady on the chair, but as for these, kindly go to Pinterest and you can type something like African portrait or African women portrait photo shoot. You'll get a bunch of them. Download, but you only get this lady right here in a white dress. Okay, so the link is in the description, and seriously, some people don't know the video description. Okay, so when I say the link to the resources is in the description, where below this video where we have the views and likes, beside it you see more. Okay, click on the more and it will drop down. And also mind you that the link leads to Telegram, so make sure you have the Telegram app installed, whether on your computer or on your phone, because that's where I always post my resources. Okay, so quickly grab the ingredients, and once again, this is Cool Graphic with the Design Chef. Let's jump into this video. Alright, so we are in Photoshop, new document, and we are picking pixels. Okay, so 1080 by 1350, 300 resolution, 8-bit. Let's click create. Alright, so we can simply change the background to black. Okay, but we don't want to do that. We just want to create a new solid color. Did I say color? And make it black instead. So let's bring this image. Okay, then let's resize. Let's push it here. We just want this guy up here. Okay, so let's resize it small and see something. Okay, so we got this, and now let's go to filter, blur, and then Gaussian blur, and let's change it to 4.5. okay, the blur radius 4.5. all right, now let's add layer mask. Grab the brush, and when I say foreground to black, make foreground black. That's what I mean. Okay, so the color that's on top has to be black, and with a brush, right click, choose soft round brush, don't choose hard round brush. Okay, we can wipe over here. We will come back and wipe again with a cloud brush. Okay, so as for this cloud brush, we are abusing it, but it's okay, it's cool. All right, so let's wipe down here for now. Go and bring this image right here. Alright, so some of the background will come in later, but for now let's start creating the pie chart. So in the same group with the rectangle, you have just right click on the rectangle, shortcut U, and you have the ellipse tool. Okay, so in order to get the precise size that I used, just click once, and if this pops up, we are using pixels. So it is, or if yours is already in pixels, 812 by 812 pixels. Okay, so 812 by 812 pixels. We can have the from center check so that it will be around here. So I'm going to push this guy here. All right, and let me just try and center it. Okay, so the fill color, it doesn't matter, but let's push it in the brown. Okay, let's take it to no. Okay, so that's cool. And what we are going to do is very simple. First of all, let's create a new layer on top of this brown guy. Okay, and let's grab the brush tool. This is very critical. Okay, right click, and maybe yours will be like this. So under general brushes, okay, choose hard round brush, and here is the size. Set it to 10. Make the size 10. Okay, hit enter, and you have something like this. Make sure your foreground is white. All right, so if I zoom in and with the brush tool, look up here, you will see set symmetry. Okay, so there's the guy. When you drop this, you will see down here mandala, and click on the mandala segment count. Let's make it 7 and click OK. So there's it, and we can simply move it here, okay, in the center like that, and hold Alt on the keyboard, and then you can stretch out like this. So with this, you can click OK from here, but we still have the brush. Okay, so sorry for that. So what you need to do is click, you see these endpoints, these blue, you can click anywhere. You can click here or you can click here. So click at one end, okay, you will see that it will appear at every end. And now hold shift on the keyboard and click the center, and you have straight lines like that. Okay, so that is that. Now pay close attention over here. Okay, you see this new layer, that is what we have the brush on top. Okay, so what we need to do is hold Control on the keyboard and click the layer thumbnail. Okay, you will see selection, and now when the selection is in place, let's select the ellipse, this brown guy. Okay, and now let's right click and then rasterize layer, so the layer will be rasterized. Okay, so let's hit delete on the keyboard, and the moment we hit delete, you see we cut the selection out of this, but we don't see anything because this white layer is in place. So the moment I hide it, you can see that we have spaces between them. Also, it is divided. Okay, so the selection is in place. Hit Ctrl D to take away the selection, and we can simply delete this white thing because we don't need that again. So kindly hit delete or drag it into the trash. And now you see those blue lines, we can take it away simply by going here and then symmetry off. The blues will be gone, and we have this guy right here. Okay, so there's the guy. So before we can cut, you see you can't see it clearly, so let's select the layer below it and then create a new solid color. Let's maintain, let's make it white. Okay, and now let's select the ellipse, which is this guy, brown guy, and over here I think the third set of tools, right click on that and choose polygonal lasso tool. Okay, so with the polygonal lasso tool, what we're going to do is we're going to divide or cut this piece into pieces. So click here and then you stretch it out. Okay, so when you move, it stretches. So move in a straight line and come and make sure you don't come into the browns. Okay, move in the white. Can I zoom in? Okay, so move in the white and click here, and make sure you move in the white and click here, and now you can click here and close it, say where you started, and now you see a selection. So we are going to cut into a new layer, so hold Control plus Shift and then hit J on the keyboard to cut into a new layer. So when we hide this, we still have the guy that we cut in a new layer. Okay, so these guys are one single layer that we are going to cut each of them into single layers, just like what we did over here. Okay, so we can hide this guy for now, but make sure you have this layer or this big pizza selected, and I'll grab the tool again, the polygonal lasso tool, and we can click here and move in a straight path in the white. Click, 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 and then join it here and hold Shift plus Control and then hit J on the keyboard to cut into a new layer. Okay, we can hide this one and make sure you select the main pizza, and now we cut. Okay, all right, so I'm skipping mine, so I'm done with mine, and as you can see, all of them are in a separate layer. Okay, so each one in a separate layer. All right, so let's start from the bottom, the first layer at the bottom, and hold Shift and click the top one, and now let's click this icon to group them. So now they are in one group. Okay, and we can rename it, let's say pizza. It's pizza, right? So we got the pizza right here. Okay, so for now we are done with that, so let's drag this white guy into the trash, or let's delete that because we are done with what. All right, So we are going to input images in here. So I'm going to start mine. So how do we do that? First of all, we are going to start with this guy. So I will click this and the layer will be selected. Okay, and I'll go into the resources and then try and bring this image. So I'll resize it on top of this shape. Okay, and then I'll go on the layer, I'll right click and then create clipping mask, and I'll put that into the shape. Okay, and I already told you to go and download portraits. Okay, so after clicking, you can simply Control T, hit Control T, and you can resize the image in that. Okay, so for this image, I think it's going to be like this. I like it this way. I'll click OK for that. Now if we scroll down, this is the layer that we are on. That's the image, and hold Control and click the layer below it, which is clipped in. Okay, and hit or click on this icon to link them together. Now anywhere we move, they go together. Okay, let me undo that, and let's click this to select the layer. Okay, and I'll bring in another image. Right click on the layer and then create clipping mask, and I'll resize it in there. And same thing, I'll hold Control and select the layer below it and then click this to link them. Okay, so all we are going to do is that with this link together, hit Control T, and I'll just drag this anchor point outside to increase it. Okay, so this is how we increase it to set that aside, and just go ahead and click OK and select this, click to select. They are linked together. Okay, so hit Control T and drag this. Don't drag any other, but drag this outside. Okay, we can't see it, but we will add strokes, so you will definitely see them. Okay, so don't worry. So go ahead and place other images in there. So I'm skipping mine. All right, so mine is successfully skipped. Okay, so I have all these in one group, pizza. So if I turn it off, you see all of them disappear. Okay, so what we are going to do is close the group so that it will look like this. Okay, or it looks like this. And now let's go to FX blending options. So in here we have to add stroke. So click on the name stroke, don't click on the checkbox. Click the name stroke, and we are setting the stroke size to 3 pixels, and we are not choosing outside, so we drop this and choose inside, and opacity, make sure it's 100, and the color, kindly pick this color. Okay, you are choosing this, and I think that's all. So we are clicking OK. So now let's go on top of this layer. Let's select this layer. Okay, this light bulb layer. Let's create a new layer on top, and let's change the blend mode to linear dodge. Take the brush, this is my brush. Make sure you have soft round brush. Right click, choose soft round brush, hit enter on the keyboard. We are picking this color for the foreground. All right, so we can simply add few glows for now. We will come back. Now let's select the topmost layer, and let's go into the resources and bring this image. And now we need to select this layer, this glow layer, and select the layer below that layer. Create a new layer, and we can simply go to window, and over here we see brushes. So the brush that we're going to use cloud smoke brushes. If you are in my Telegram channel, you have this brush already, but if you don't have it, is part of the resources. So when you want to load the brush, just come and click here, or if you want to import the brush in here, just come and click this icon, and you will see import brushes where you extracted the resources. Find that brush, select the brush, load it up. Okay, and it will pop up here. So you're going to take the second one, and it is big. Okay, so you can simply right click, and over here let's make the size 1500. Okay, so that's what we got, and we are just going to hover around here, but let's keep this brown color that we use for the glow. So let's click this to switch, so the black is now in front, or the one behind is now in front, so that we keep this. So let's click this and let's copy this color. So we are just going to hover around somewhere here and click. Okay, click once, and then we're simply gonna hit Ctrl J to duplicate, Ctrl T, and then right click, flip horizontal, and we can simply push the other one. When you are pushing to the left, hold shift to move in a straight path. Okay, all right, now let's hold Ctrl and click the layer below that we copied to select the two. Okay, Ctrl E to merge together, or if you don't want to use Ctrl E, you can simply right click and then merge layers. Okay, so with this we go to filter, and anytime you want to apply any blur or something and you want to you think that you might change it later, kindly convert for smart filters so it will look like a smart object. Okay, now let's go to filter again and blur, Gaussian blur. Right, let's add blur radius 7 and click OK for that. Okay, so now let's select this glow layer. Okay, and let's grab the brush. I got the cloud smoke brush. Okay, so choose the cloud smoke brush and hover somewhere here. Okay, and click. Okay, so we make sure we are using the brown color. Okay, that's the color code if you've lost it. So let's select that and click here. You can click again, and after that let's go and select the layer mask of the background image itself. Okay, and now let's click somewhere here, click again. All right, and now we can go back to this glow layer. Okay, and now this time let's take the brush, but let's choose soft round brush. Okay, and we can decrease the size, and we just need to click here, and then click here. Now let's grab the move tool and click this lady. Okay, so the layer will be selected. Hit Ctrl J on the keyboard to duplicate this layer. Okay, Ctrl T, and then right click, flip vertical, and we can simply, when you are moving down, hold shift to move in a straight path. Okay, so we are not going far and we are not making it more fancy or too much fancy. Just here, click OK. So let's change the fill to 80. Okay, and then let's go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Let's make it 1.7. Okay, and then let's bring the reflection layer below the original layer. So kindly drag it below, make sure it doesn't fall into the group below the reflection or the original one. Okay, so with this we can simply add layer mask, grab the brush. Okay, foreground, make sure it's black, and I can zoom in here and just wipe a little. Okay, not too much, but, and if I zoom in more, you can see this guy is somewhere. You can simply grab, let me undo that. Okay, you can simply clean that with a brush, just decrease the size and clean that, but we will cover that with petals, so you shouldn't even worry about that. And after all, we are just making it very simple right there. Okay, so what we can do is create a new layer, take the brush, and let's make sure foreground is black, so we can make the foreground black. Let me just switch it and right click and make sure you squeeze this down. Okay, squeeze this down like that so that you get a brush like this. Okay, and make sure your flow is at 100, and you can just add shadows. Okay, but not big shadows, just small ones like this. Okay, so this is cool. So nobody is asking why the chairs are casting shadows, but the person is not casting any shadow. So yeah, the person is casting shadow, so we can simply click here to add shadows, but we are not doing that. Let's right click and then let's open it up a little bit. All right, so click there and shadows is there. All right, so that is that. You are not doing anything All right, so let's select this pizza group, okay, and then let's add brightness and contrast. Now let's make the brightness 5, let's make the contrast 15. All right, and let's clip it. So we got this a slight brightness. All right, okay, so let's come to the top, select the topmost layer. All right, but before that, who realized that I didn't blur this guy, the light bulb over here? I didn't blur that, so let's select that layer. If you don't want to blur it, fine, but for me I want to blur it, so Gaussian blur, and let me just make it 3.2 and click OK for that. And let's come back and select the topmost layer, and let's go into the resources and bring this image. And let's go into the layers panel, hit Ctrl J to duplicate, and you can select the bottom one, okay, Ctrl T, right click, and then flip vertical, and then you can just push it down. Okay, so just when these, let me zoom in, just when these two petals are about to touch, just drag it here and leave it that. Okay, leave it like that, or leave it that. Now let's change the fill to 35, and let's go to filter, and let's add Gaussian blur. Okay, for beginners, blur, Gaussian blur everywhere you have to go. So 1.5. and now let me zoom in, okay, on this, and on top of this layer, let's create a new layer. Let's grab the brush. I think we should have this squeezed brush. Okay, so if you don't have this, just right click and squeeze it down from here if you've done this. Okay, so let's click, let me make it smaller and click here to add shadows. Let me click here to add shadows. Let me click here to add shadows. That's cool. Okay, so after that, let's select the 3 layers, these guys, and let's link them together. Okay, so anywhere we move them together. All right, and we can just duplicate them. So while you have these 3 guys selected, just hit Ctrl J, you have a new set of duplicates, right click, okay, and just merge the layers, and then let's go to filter and then convert for smart filters. So we can move it. Okay, so it's now a single layer, so let's squeeze it down and place it somewhere here. Now let's go to filter, Gaussian blur, and let's make it 3 pixels. All right, okay, so with this guy being the single layer, just duplicate and make them smaller. Okay, and just place them at vantage points, and you can go ahead and lower the fill so that they will fade in just like they are kind of far away. So go ahead and do this. Okay, I'm not going to do that, please, sake of I have the power to skip. So I got mine over here. So this guy right here, you can see the fill. Okay, so this one, the fill is 100, but the blur I've changed it to 2.5. and this guy right here, for instance, the blur is okay 2.5, but the fill is 48. So just, you know, use your eye and just do what you see right here. Okay, all right, so let's jump to the next. So before the text comes in, you see this cloud layer right here. You can simply lower the fill a bit. Okay, let's say 70, 75 is okay, and the text will come here. So let's add layer mask, grab the brush, right click, choose soft round, and let's make it bigger. And let's lower the flow up here so that we can hide or make this guy darker, this place darker, a little bit darker. Okay, so that the text will actually pop. So with this, now I can just bring in the text and we just discuss. So I got the Angelina Jolie text right here, and let's discuss this. So of course this is not Angelina Jolie, but you see the type or the font for the Angelina Jolie is the Sign It Free. It is part of the resources. And this guy right here is a font that I love using, Geroy Heavy Italic. It will be part of the resources. And this birthday, okay, so if you want to spread the birthday like this is just Montserrat. At least I always use 3 fonts in my designs. So this Montserrat medium, And you see this guy right here, probably I'm just waiting for it to pop up. This is the tracking, and I've set mine to 680 5.5 points. Okay, and this is just lorem 5 and medium. Okay, so to do this thing right here, you just grab a shape. Okay, you just need a rectangle. Did I see rectangle? Yeah, you need a rectangle. So right click here and then just create a rectangle like this. Okay, and in the properties, if you can't find the properties, go to window, and down here you will see properties. It'll pop up here. You can make the radius, corner radius 10. Okay, it'll run the corners, and you simply, let me just select this guy and take it from there. Double click the layer thumbnail and copy this for the color fill. Okay, and then we can go to FX and then blending options. So when you click blending options, it's just like, I just want to show you with the same settings. So I'm clicking on the inner glow up here, sorry, down here. So in blending option, just click on inner glow and it will be set. Make sure you set this to screen and opacity 55, and this color, choose this color for the inner glow. Okay, and then simply set the size to 21, everything, maintain everything, and then let's click OK. You have this effect right here, then you put the jolly inside. All right, so with that, I think we should add the glows on top, and then we change the background to the variant, which is white. On the topmost layer, let's create a new layer. Let's change the blend mode to linear dodge, and we are picking this color. Okay, we are using this color for the glow. So let's grab the brush. I got mine already, and I can simply make sure your flow is at 100. Can simply tap in here and then make it bigger, and you can click up here. Okay, and you can make the brush smaller and click on the jolly to, you know, brighten up the jolly jolly juice. And on this guy with the brush, you can, let me zoom in, and you can hold Alt. It will turn to eyedropper. When you click over here, you sample this color and you can click in like that. You can make it bigger, click in, so that you actually glow this guy up a little bit. You can even glow this guy, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so we are done with this, and if you want this, you can simply go to File, Save As. If you check over here, I have Untitled 1, Untitled 2, Untitled 3. So you can save this one as you give it a name, okay, a different name. And then if you want to change the background, simply lock the top layer and select these text, okay, and then change them to black. So I will change them to black before we even attempt. And this guy right here, I didn't talk about it. This is also a font, and the font is Photogrammy Hat. I'll add it into the resource, don't worry. Let's change the Photogrammy Hat, and it is a typography. So when you hit R, you get this type of hat. Okay, and now let's come straight down and turn off the background. So we got this white, but we can make the background better by simply selecting this layer. You see this cloud layer, create a new layer on top, grab the brush. I got my cloud, so make sure you select. If you right click, you have the previous one, so select the one with 1500 size, and we can add cloud. Make sure your flow is at 100. Okay, and you can simply add clouds in there. All right, so you wouldn't even want to add more clouds or something like that. But over here is so nasty that we need to do something about it. So what are we doing? Simply click on one of the shadows. Okay, so these are the shadows, and we can lower the fill. Okay, just because we are in a white background, and you can hit Control T and squeeze the shadows. No, don't squeeze it, you thought. Don't do that. And let's select this shadow. Okay, this guy's shadow, and let's lower it a little bit, and I think we're cool. And if you want this, you can go for this. Okay, but let's go back to the previous one. So in here, the last thing to do is this guy up here. So let's discuss this. Okay, so this is simply just an image. Okay, it will be part of the resources, or if you get anything better, if you just run like this, you can just use that. But this one will be in the resource, don't worry about it. But when it comes to, you know, wrapping the text in a circular form, if you want to do that, just grab ellipse, okay, and then create an ellipse like this. Hold shift to get a perfect ellipse. All right, so with this, simply go to properties and take away the fill, and you can add stroke. Okay, so make the stroke white. Okay, go and grab the type tool T on the keyboard, and what you need to do is, let me zoom in better, click on the line. Okay, the white path, just click on the path, don't click out inside or outside, click on the path, and you see that a text will wrap around it, but the size depends on what you choose. So right now it is 15 points. If I make it 9 points, you see that we get a bunch of text around it. So you can, if the person is, let's say May, you go ahead May, and then you space few spaces, and then May again, few spaces, and then May again. Okay, so with this you can simply use the, where is the May again, bro? All right, so with this you can simply use that. You can go for another May again. All right, so they just wrap, and after that you can simply delete the ellipse, the stroke ellipse that you created, and you can just place it on top like that. You can simply Control T and resize that. Okay, and lastly, if you want this type where you got only the name and then the happy birthday down here, simply delete the lorem ipsum text. Okay, and then bring the birthday here. So let's delete this guy and bring the birthday here, and then over here you can simply increase the tracking. Okay, so when you increase it, you see it stretches, and then you can just place it down here, and you just move this guy here. So over here I just move this guy here, and then this on top. And that's that, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to Cool Graphics to join the community of design chefs, and I'm out. Peace.